Hi, everybody. So today we're going to go over the last of the six systems that we're covering during this remote learning portion of the year. There are other systems, seven of them actually, depending on how you break them up, that are also additional in your body systems, but we just do not have time to cover them. So I'm going to cover the excretory system today. And we're going to start by making sure that you understand that the purpose of the excretory, its function, right, is to remove waste and toxins from your body. And that those wastes and toxins can leave your body via your urine or right your pee or via your feces, which is your poop. So you're pooping and you're peeing. Reason why you poop and pee is because you're trying to get the excess stuff out of your body. Okay. And so when we think about removing waste, we've actually already talked about one way to remove waste when we did the respiratory system. So when we did the respiratory system, we talked about the fact that we know that your cells undergo cellular respiration and that one of the waste products of that cellular respiration is carbon dioxide. Right. And carbon dioxide is not good for our bodies. And so we have to have a way to expel it or to excrete it. And the way we do that is by exhaling. And so one of the ways to get rid of waste from our body is to exhale. Two we're focusing on here is how to get rid of excess liquid from our bodies and the solid stuff that is the end part of our digestive system. Okay. And so the excretory system and the digestive system work incredibly close together. They work hand in hand. All right. And so let's move on to our next slide. And let me bounce back here a little bit. So the ones that we're focusing on specifically, so the main part of your excretory system are your kidneys. And so you have two kidneys, and we're going to look at them in the next slide, but you have two kidneys, and these guys actually do filter. They filter the toxins and stuff out. They send the excess water and any of the toxins or the waste products out through these ureters, and then it stays in your bladder until you urinate or until you pee. Okay, and so that's how we get rid of the liquid part of it. One of the other parts that helps this system is the liver, and we're going to talk about the liver in a couple slides. Okay, so when we first look at the kidneys, first of all, you have two of them, and if you like rice and beans as much as I do, these beans are going to look really familiar to you. Okay, and they call them kidney beans, and they're called kidney beans because, well, they look like kidneys. And so we have two kidneys, right? And they are in your lower back, actually, towards your lower back. And that's why if you get into a fight and somebody starts punching on your back, it can be incredibly, incredibly dangerous. Or if you have a fall, you're in a vehicle accident, kidney damage can be a real problem. We have two of them. We can live with one. It's better for two because we're not taxing the other one quite so much, but we can survive with one. So if you needed a kidney transplant, somebody could donate a kidney to you, assuming that everything matched, and you would both be perfectly fine. So the function of the kidney is actually a filter. And I'm going to keep saying this because the liver does not filter. People think it does. It does not. The kidney filters. And what it does is the blood, if you take a look at this diagram here, and this is a little bit difficult to see. It's actually a GIF file. You know, I love GIF files. And so we have unfiltered blood. Well, it's unfiltered. So where'd all that stuff come from, right? All the stuff. Well, in your cells, when your organelles stop working properly, your body, your cells actually ingest them. Parts of your cells, the lysosomes in your cells, you don't know this one yet, but it's an organelle in your cell. It actually ingests the parts that aren't working properly anymore, breaks them down, and your body doesn't waste anything. So it keeps the stuff that it can reuse, and it gets rid of anything that it's not going to use. So that is waste from your cells actually trying to clean up your cells. Another byproduct is when the mitochondria breaks down glucose, right? It had this carbon dioxide in there. That's going to go to the blood. That's not going to get filtered by the kidneys. But there are other things that leave your body, right? Things that you ingest get broken down. And the stuff that's not good for our bodies comes in as unfiltered blood. So it's dirty blood, sort of. It just means that it hasn't been cleaned yet. And it comes from your whole body, right? So it comes in here and it comes in something called the renal artery. It's coming into the kidney. It's coming through here. It's getting filtered. The excess water is pulled out here, and any of the toxins that it filtered out will go out through here too. But what comes out the other side, remember, we have arteries that are connected to lots and lots of capillaries in here. Then those capillaries are connected to the veins, right? So you have arterial blood from here that's going in, and it's dirtied, right, with waste products from your body undergoing all of its functions. It gets cleaned up here. The kidney filters it. The bad stuff goes out with the urine, and then the nice clean blood goes out the renal vein. So if you have kidneys that aren't working, you may have heard of something called dialysis. And dialysis actually acts as it's a fake kidney. It actually filters out the blood and then sends the good blood back, right? So your blood is sent into the dialysis machine, it gets filtered, and then the good blood gets sent back in. Okay, so here's the deal with this though. Your body does this all the time. So somebody who is undergoing dialysis and their kidneys are really shot, they're not working properly, they have to go to dialysis every single day. And we're talking hours connected to a machine that's filtering your blood. But if you don't get it, you die. Your body becomes poisoned. Okay, so the kidneys are actually a filter. So that's one part of the excretory system. Now, your liver, and I know I've said this, it's not a filter. Okay, your liver has chemicals in it that break down the toxins to make them less toxic for you, and then they get sent out of the body. And so the liver is right here, and it's towards the front and up by the lungs, okay? It's the largest organ in your body. Now look up here, 500 functions. It's absolutely amazing. You cannot live without a liver. So what the liver does is it doesn't act as a filter, but it acts as like a big chemistry lab. It breaks down the toxins in your body, right? Toxins are like poisons in your body. It breaks them down, puts the waste into the blood, and then guess where that blood goes, right? It goes back to the kidneys, and everything gets excreted out. Everything that this guy breaks down gets flushed out with the urine. There's one really, really cool thing about the liver is it is the largest organ in your body. It's also the only organ that can regenerate. Regenerate means to grow back. It's an amazing thing because you can't live without a liver. You have to have a transplant if your liver's not working. The great thing is if I match you need a liver, they can take 40 to 60%, or say about half. They take half of my liver, they put it in you. Yours grows to a full-size liver, mine grows back. It's absolutely amazing. And considering how important it is, it makes it that much more amazing. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. So the next slide is the solid, two ways, right? Solid waste and liquid waste. So we're going to talk about solid waste first. We can't talk about solid waste removal if you don't know about the digestive system. That's why we did the digestive system first, right? And so you know that there are 5 stages in the digestive system. And the last one is your body absorbing the water and making that food that has come through your small intestine, making it fecal matter, right? Turning it into feces. And remember, this large intestine is large because it's wider, not because it's longer, right? Remember the small intestines are all wound in here, right? Oh my gosh, there's so many of them. That's where the nutrients are taken out, right? It's where the nutrition is taken out of your body. The water is taken out in your large intestine, which is also called your colon. Remember that? And what about this little guy down here? What's he doing hanging out there? Well, remember, that's the appendix. He doesn't do nothing for us, no more, but causes problems. Okay. So when we think about getting rid of solid waste, we think it's called defecation, right? It's pooping, basically, is what it is. And the stuff that we poop out, the big brain term is actually called feces. We call it poop, right? And so your body has sent all of this food, right? The digestive system has done its cool thing. All of the nutrition has been absorbed through here, comes into here. This is where the water is pulled out. And so it's turned into what's called stool, right? Or feces in the large intestine. Now, here's the cool thing. It gets pushed out by something that we learned about when we did muscular system. Are you starting to see how all of these systems interact, right? So we said that that there were 3 types of muscle, right? Well, it's not cardiac, ain't in the heart, not skeletal, not connected to any bones. So the one thing that is left is smooth muscle. And so this smooth muscle gently pushes the rest of this waste out of your body, right? Nerves are part of all of this too. The blood system, the circulatory system is all part of this, right? The nutrients get pulled out into the blood and they get delivered to cells by the blood. And so all of these systems are coming together here. And then ultimately, the rectum is here, is the back end of the, no pun intended, is the back end of the large intestine. And that's the rectum. And then the anus, go ahead and giggle. There you go. So the anus is actually the opening that where the site that the stool is expelled. Okay, so we're talking about a system that gets rid of waste, the excretory system, but all of these other systems are involved in this, right? To get it to where it needs to be. The next one is looking at the liquid waste removal. So we just finished the solid waste, right, which is the feces or the poop. Now we're going to look at the liquid waste removal. And so when we look at the waste in the urine or the pee, it is the liquid, the extra liquid, right, the extra water, and the stuff that has been broken down and is waste. There's not solid waste in your urine, right? It's just stuff that's been broken down and ends up in your urine and gets spit out. And so all of the stuff gets filtered through your kidneys. Remember, kidneys are a filter. The bad stuff, the toxins, the waste gets sent out. They get sent out in the urine. Okay, so you have the kidney here. You have the ureters, which is sort of like the pathway that the urine flows, and then the bladder is what holds our urine until we pee. And so here's the big end product of this. Okay, if we're getting rid of solid waste and liquid waste, and we're getting rid of the toxins and the poisons and the excess of everything in our body, remember way back when we talked about the qualities or the characteristics of living things, we said that homeostasis was one of those things. Well, homeostasis is just a fancy schmancy word for internal balance in our body, right? And so internal balance can be anything from, we're going to look at 3 of them we're going to look at this one specifically, how your body maintains homeostasis when you're running. But there are 3 slides after this, and you'll see that it's labeled extensions, right? It's an extension. There's 3 of them, and I'm going to do quick screencastifies on that. I promise they'll be quicker on homeostasis as it pertains to body temperature, to water level, and glucose, which is sugar in your blood. Okay, but it's more than you need to know for this. But I do want to look at this one. Okay, so again, all of these systems are working together to give your body a homeostasis. So when we look at homeostasis, so this woman is running, right? And so you know that you need energy. So your body is going to break down the glucose in your body. And I'm not going to go over these in any detail, but your body is going to break down glucose. Remember, this is going to happen in the mitochondria. It's going to break down glucose and it's going to give you energy. Well, if you don't have enough sugar in your body, your liver can store a small amount of it, and so your body goes to your liver, breaks down that material, and it gives you energy. Your body temperature has to get maintained, right? You are breaking down food. Remember, one of the things that gets given off during cellular respiration is also heat. And so, if you're running, your body has to maintain that 37 or 98.6 Fahrenheit temperature. And so, what does it do? You start to sweat. And when you start to sweat, remember, sweating is one of those ways that your body can get rid of wastes, right? It can get rid of excess. It can get rid of excess salt. It gets rid of excess heat, and so your body is balancing the amount of water, right? If you're out running, you're not going to have to. If you're running and sweating, you're not going to have to stop somewhere and pee. Why? Because your body is releasing that excess water as sweat. Okay. So the blood sugar is being maintained, right? It's pulling from the stores or from the food that you've eaten, the stores in your liver and the food that you've eaten. The water balance, it's changing how your kidneys are working, right? It's going to hold the water because you're sweating and your body wants to make sure you have enough water. And then your body temperature, you're sweating to keep the body temperature down. So when we look at homeostasis, all of these systems have to work together, right? So you're out running. Nervous system is working. Skeletal system is working. Circulatory system, they're all working and they're all trying to maintain homeostasis in your body. Remember, homeostasis is just keeping your body on a nice, even keel. So I know this is a lot of information, but this is a really, well, they're all kind of cool systems, but this is a really cool system. Remember, if you have any questions, go back at the beginning. I've posted it both here and I have posted it here in case you forget. And if you have any questions, ask your teacher or send me a note or rewatch the screencast. Fine. Thank you.